Thanks for tuning in to the Diaphragm Dynasty. I'm back with more R&B news. Of course, this is what this podcast is dedicated to, but a story that I just started thinking about and an artist I thought about that kind of got lost in the shuffle, an artist that you might not know about, an artist that was starting to ascend in the early 2010s, but for some reason disappeared from the music scene. Now, I'm talking about Mack Wilds, whose real name is Tristan Wilds. You might know him from Michael Lee from The Wire, being the character there, which, he was very dynamic in that show, starting off in season 4 and then season ended in season 5 when the series ended, and his evolution as an actor. But I'm talking about musically, his contributions to R&B, and I didn't even know he could sing, especially around the time that that show was out because he never gave us any indication of that because he never was able to showcase that on the show. Now maybe behind the scenes or something they knew about it, but we as the fan definitely didn't know he could sing. So I was kind of interested in that when I seen him singing because we seen other artists like Poot from The Wire be a rapper and things like that. But when you find people have other talents, similar to Rotimi in Power, him being a singer, I had no clue either. So it's very interesting to see when these actors or actresses have other skills that you didn't know about, or in just in life general. But Mac Wiles, he released 3 singles, but these songs showed a lot of promise, I believe, because he had an amazing voice for one, and then two, the writers that he had and the content he was putting out was very good, at least enough I thought to have some kind of longevity in the game. Unfortunately, he only released 2 albums or 2 projects. I believe one of them was an EP, but the first album, New York, a love story, I thought had a lot of promise to it, and it was going to send him to the next level. And I'll talk about his hopes of still being able to do that in a little bit. But let me just give you a little background story. He was signed to Sony Music imprint Larger Than Life, which is Salam Remy, a label at the time, and he released that project New York, a love story, that did not chart well. And then he was signed to Empire, which is Ghazi's label, and he released a project called After Hours that didn't chart at all. And he had that song on After Hours, which was it was a song with Wale that he had, Bunny and Clyde, which I liked a lot. But he had amazing songs from Own It, which was on the New York, A Love Story. He had the song Own It, which I just found out was written by Neo, which is an amazing song and has crazy production on it. And it seems like a lot of effort and money was put into the project, into that song, but for some reason it didn't go as far as it expected to go. But he had that song, then he had Love in the 90s, which I love this song because it's an ode to 90s R&B artists, and it's talking about his love for a woman and comparing it to songs from the 90s. And it's an amazing song. And if you haven't heard the song, definitely check it out. It's an amazing song that he put together that you definitely have to check out. But yeah, this should have been enough to jumpstart his career. But I'm gonna tell you why I don't think this is the end of the road for Mac Wiles and the blueprint that he can follow going forward to be successful, like another artist that was an actor that transitioned to the music world. And the artist that I'm talking about is Jamie Foxx. Now, Jamie Foxx, we know him from, you know, the Intuition Project. We know him from that 2005 project that he released. That was an amazing project called Unpredictable. That project that he put out is was a life changer for him because most people, when they think about Jamie Foxx musically, they think about him from that project on. People don't realize that prior to Unpredictable, he had a project in 1994 called Peep This. Now, this art album topped the billboards at number 78, which is not bad, but it's not the best, especially having a following, or having the career that he had at the time, because at the time he was on Living Color. I don't think he really released any movies at this point, or big movies to point. But nevertheless, he was able to take 11-year hiatus from 1994 and release again in 2005 project and become double platinum from when his first album didn't even go gold. Why did he make that big jump from 1994 to 2005 and be able to be more successful? Like I talked about before, it's the collaboration, it's the money that you put into it, the time that you put into it, the connections that he had. At that point, he had put out classic movies like Ray and Ali and movies like that, and he got these connections, and I think that's the route that Tristan or Mack Wiles needs to make. Put out a couple more, put out some more movies and TV shows and make some classic TV moments and movie moments and things like that, and come back to the game, come back with better producers, better writers, a better team around you, a better supporting cast, a better collection because you have the talent. You just about having the connections. A lot of times, and I hate when people used to say this, but it makes so much sense now as an adult, is it's not what you know, it's who you know. So a lot of times it's not about having crazy talent, it's about having crazy connections. And I think that is what Tristan Wilds was missing. He had Salam Remy with him, who is a big asset to the game, but I think it's more on the hip hop side. R&B side, he would need somebody more connected, like a Babyface, like a Neo, which he had on one of his songs, like Tank, which people don't talk enough about Tank's contributions to Jamie Foxx's first album and his second album as well. Jamie Foxx did some great writing on that unpredictable album that extended Jamie Foxx's career. That Tank, unfortunately, for some reason, has not reached that level, but he's able to push other people to that level. For some reason, he has the look and he has the charisma, but for some reason, he hasn't made it to the next level. I don't know if he's blackballed somewhere or something like that, but for some reason, it just doesn't make sense for him to have the look and the talent and still not be able to ascend on the Jamie Foxx level or even to some degree Omarion when he had it. But Jamie got better, he had got better writers with the Tanks and the Sean Garretts and Mike Cities and people like that. And he had producers like Tank, Timberland, and Babyface. So he was able to have these different, great creators around him to give him that knowledge and give him that boost that he needed. And I think that's the only thing that Tristan Wiles or Mack Wiles needs. So we'll see where if he comes back to the game and if he comes back with more resources because he definitely has the talent. I was a big fan of his music that he put out, and I was excited to see where he went. But unfortunately, he kind of stepped back from it, and I believe he's still acting and things. But I definitely want to see him come back to music because he's an exceptional talent. But nevertheless, as always, thanks for tuning into the Diaphragm Dynasty, and until next time, I'll see you next time.